Jesus taught his disciples, saying, "You are the salt of the earth. But if the salt has become tasteless, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot by the crowd. You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden, nor does anyone light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a lampstand, so that it gives light to all who are in the house. So let your light shine before others in such a way that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven." The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Good morning. Please be seated. History will tell us that Spain was conquered by the Moors for at least 900 years. And in the southern part of Spain, there was a kingdom called Granada. And up to this day, they like or they love the classic story about the magic mirror. The story goes that the king of Granada wanted a wife, and he said, "I should have the best wife in my kingdom." And so he put out the word that he's looking for a bride. But the stipulation or requirement would be each candidate should face the magic mirror. This magic mirror, when you face it, will signal all the mistakes you have created or you have committed in your life, and blemishes will appear in the magic mirror. So the more mistakes, the more blemished the mirror would be. And so nobody wanted to do that. Until a woman, a very ordinary, a shepherdess, came forward and said, "I don't care. I'll face the mirror. I have committed mistakes, but I know I'll be forgiven." It turned out that the mirror was not magic at all. And the king, who was wise, only wanted to see if there's any woman worthy to be his wife who is confident about who she really is. My dear brothers and sisters, we heard the gospel, a very beautiful gospel, and it gives us a picture of what basically we have to do as Christians. To be the salt of the earth, the classic or regular or normal pastoral interpretation is that salt is a preservative. And so to be the salt of the earth as a Christian is first to preserve our values. What we have, what we believe is true right from the beginning, and to live in the grace of our baptism. The what of Christianity. When we think of the salt, it's reminding us what it is to be a Christian. And what are those things that we are preserved. Like that lowly shepherdess, that's what we are. We are persons who are committing mistakes. We are not yet saints. We hope to be after we die. But while living here on earth, Christianity is all about, community is all about, the church is all about a gathering of people who commit mistakes. Nevertheless, just like what we do in the beginning of every Mass, we have that confidence that God's love and compassion is always beyond all our mistakes and shortcomings, and then we are worthy, because that's what a son or a daughter of God should be. Always loved, always accepted, no matter what. My dear brothers and sisters, it's very important for us to remember that that is what we are trying to preserve. Not the mistakes, but the reality and the truth that we are not perfect persons. Nevertheless, despite of that, we can build a church. We can be together, and we can be a family. If we lose sight of that, then as the gospel says, the soul becomes tasteless. We are not setting off from perfection. Our faith helps us to move from being imperfect to be like Christ, who is the model of perfect humanity. And this journey is the reality of who and what we are as Christians. When we cannot start a church that requires only those who are perfect are welcome. That's impossible. No one can be. It's like building on sand. And to accept and to love who and what we are as persons is struggling to be good, to be faithful, to be loving and accepting and understanding no matter what. That idea of what we are is the foundation of the church that we are going to be. To be the light, and the light, to be the light of the world, is to understand why. So we have the basic interpretation of this gospel as the what and why of being a follower of Jesus Christ. Let me illustrate the why by another story. There was a medical student, top of his class. And when he went to the surgery class, he asked the professor, the best surgeon in the university, and he asked, how long does it take to master appendectomy? And the surgeon said, in 3 months, you would know how to perform. And then the student said, oh, that's easy. No, it's not, said the surgeon. 3 months to perform appendectomy and 3 years to know what to do when something goes wrong. My dear brothers and sisters, the why is when something goes wrong. Because as we said, the what tells us we are imperfect persons. Therefore, it's natural that something will go wrong. But again, the why of Christianity, to be the light, is to know what to do when something goes wrong. I always credit Bishop Peter about this saint man. This is a wonderful church. This is like an avant-garde church. It's progressive. But initially, I was about to say Saint Peter, Bishop Peter, felt and understood something is going wrong. Why is the church, Roman Catholic Church, mainstream churches, keep on becoming more and more exclusive rather than inclusive? Why is it that more and more people are being alienated rather than being accepted? And Bishop Peter felt that there's something wrong with the culture of this church or that church. He did not say that you are wrong, but what he felt was something is going wrong. There should be a way, as we always say in the introduction, of creating a church that would actually be the light for the world. And what is that? The challenge is when we know the what and the why, what do we have? These are elements of what we can call or what we describe or define as culture. We need a new culture. And Bishop Peter decided it's time to create a new way of living the faith, to accept people who are alienated, people who are discriminated against, people who are denied, and then this is how we should do and make this church. When Noah Webster published the dictionary, the purpose is to aid the Americans understand better the gospel. So he defines there as culture as any means to improve, to make better something. Culture has the same root word in Latin as cultivate. So when we cultivate, then we want it to be something that would actually be positive and helpful, move towards what is good and or better. And so when we say we know the what and why of what it is to be a church, then we say we are ready to leave that particular culture. That particular culture that we are trying to live here in St. Matthew or in the ECC is that this church is made up of persons who are struggling because of our imperfections. And at the same time, these are made up of persons who are there whenever somebody or something goes wrong. That is how we build this church. The good news of all this, that's why it's in the gospel, is that primarily we don't need money to do it. Primarily we don't need power to do it. Primarily we just need one another to accomplish and do it. That is the good news. We don't need $1 million capital to become a good church. We just need to be with one another. Because why? Because once this culture becomes a power that is economic or political, then what happens is the salt becomes tasteless and the light is vanished. Darkness comes in. When we continue to be a family, a church that doesn't forget that we are all imperfect people and that we should help one another when something goes wrong. Even if it's slow, we are on the right track and we are like, the image is like we are hoisting this light higher and higher so that darkness will be vanished. Let us not forget, a church is just a means to an end. When a church becomes an end, and then it's the end of being a church. When the church becomes or tends to be an economic power or tends to be a political power, we know what happens. More and more people are alienated. You know, when power meets imperfection, it's just alienate people. And we are not attaining inclusivity. We are becoming more and more judgmental and exclusive. So this is like a tall order, to be the salt and the light of the world. When we realize it's being taught in the ordinary time, it means these things, this kind of thinking, this kind of living should be ordinary for us. But the truth is, it's extraordinary to be light and salt of the earth. What is our best way in order to at least not forget about it? Prayer. Let us always give time to pray and silence. Because when we pray, we are reminded that yes, I'm in a church where everybody is not perfect. And I'm in a church where I am invited to be there for the others when something goes wrong. Let us ask, my dear brothers and sisters, in prayer, that however big this challenge is, again, the good news is we have one another. We can just look at one another and say, yes, we are here to build this church. We are not here to discriminate or judge one another. We are here to accept one another, to be true as who and what we are, and to be with one another when something goes wrong, because we want to cultivate a life where we help, understand, and accept one another. May we always live in these lessons. God bless us all. Amen.